So in today's session, we are actually going to discuss about object-oriented features, okay, in Python programming, in which we discussed about class. That class is simply a blueprint for an object, and this keyword class we will use whenever we want to create a class. And in a class, we will have some attributes and functions, okay? And then we are going to talk about constructors. So constructors are, we can say, functions that will be used for instantiating an object. Instantiating an object means actually assigning values to data members whenever we are going to create an object of that class, okay? So for that we will use this init method. So let me show that how we can create a class and how we can construct a how we can create a constructor. So this class is a keyword, then person is the name of that class, okay? So that we have to provide from ourselves, and then colon we have to write, so as per syntax. Then after that, def is there. Def is a keyword whenever we want to create a function in Python programming. So def we have to use before the name of that function. But here actually we are going to create a constructor, okay? So for constructor, what we have to write, we have to write like this. So let me type this again. So after def we have to write double underscore, then init, then again double underscore. So this double underscore init, then double underscore, this function, or we can say init function or init method, we will use, okay, for constructor. And after that we have to write self. So self will be actually first argument, okay, for every function of any class. So whenever you are going to create any function or any constructor within a class, so first parameter that you have to write, or first argument that you have to write, we can say, will be self. So self will actually point to the current object, okay? So with the help of this self keyword, we can access all the members, like data members and member functions, okay, for particular object, okay? So like we have self, so self we will use. And then after that, for example, for person we want to get like name. So for each person we will store name, and then we will store age, okay? So name and age, so these arguments you have to provide as per your class requirements, but self will be there, okay? For each constructor, each function, we have to write this self, okay? Then after that, column we have to write. So I hope you are doing this parallelly at your device. This class person, then def init. So init method we will be using for constructor. Then after that we have to write. So in this constructor, what we are going to write? So whatever you will provide in as name, that will be stored, okay, in the name data member. So self dot name means it will automatically take name as a data member for your class. Like for person, name will be a data member automatically, because we are writing self dot name. And what it will store in that name, whatever you will provide as an parameter for this name, okay, this will be stored here, okay? Or if you want to differentiate this, then you can write it simply n and simply a. So whatever values you will provide for n and a, that will be stored in name and age, okay, respectively. Like in self dot age, if you are going to write, so whatever value you will provide, okay, whenever you will uh, create an object, then these values will be stored in name, n will be stored in name, age will a will be stored in age, okay? And what will be name and age? Because you are writing it with self dot name, self dot age, it means it will be a data member of this function, okay? So in this way we can create, we can say, a constructor, okay, within a class. So now what we can do, next we can do def and then a function show. So this is another member function, because this init method we will use for constructor. So constructor will be called at the time of creating an object, okay? whenever you will create an object of this class. Okay, at the time of creation of that object, it will be called. But there may be another member functions. Okay, so for example, we are going to create another member function, that is show. So for every member function, first argument will be self, and then if you have any other argument, that you may write, otherwise you may skip. And after that we have to put colon. After that, what we want to do in show function, we want to simply print these values like name and age. So what you can write, print function we will use, and then we will write like name. Okay, and name. So what will be name? So it will be self dot name. Okay, self dot name. Why we are writing? Because this name as a data member, okay, of this class will be used. Okay, self dot name. So whenever you will call this function with some object, okay, so name of that object will be printed. Self dot name means name of that object. Okay, that's why we are using this self keyword. Next we will go for printing. So print, and in this we are going to print age. Okay, and what we will do for age also, we will write self dot age. Okay, so like this we can create another member function like show. Okay, so in this way we can create a simple class in which we have created instructor, constructor, and a simple member function show to print the values for name and age of this class. Okay, so in this way we can create a class. And let me tell you about objects, that an object is an instance of a class. We can say example of that class. Okay, and a class is like a blueprint, and while an instance is a copy of that class with actual values. So with this syntax we can create a class like object name we have to write, then equal to class name we have to write, and then arguments, okay, as per the constructor. For example, if you have a constructor in which you have to provide n and a, for self we will not provide any value, but for n and a we will provide some values. So n will be stored in name, a will be stored in age. Okay, so what we are going to do, that object p, for example, we want to create. Okay, so name of the object will be p will be our object name. After that we will write person. So person, as you can see, that person is actually class name. Okay, this class. So this p will be an object of this class person. That's why we are writing like this, p is equal to person. After that, in parentheses, if you are going to use this constructor like n and a, then we can provide these name like Rahul. So Rahul will be the name of that person, and age. So 25 will be the age of this person. So 25 is a number, so we will write it directly, and Rahul is a text, or we can say string data type in Python programming. So we will write this Rahul within single quote or double quote we can write. Okay. So in this way we can create, okay, an object of a class. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will run this cell first, then this cell, and next what we want to do, we will use this show function, okay, to print name and age for Rahul, or for this object p we can say. Okay, so for show we don't need to write any value. Okay, so now we are going to run this cell. So you can see name is Rahul, age is 25. Okay, so this was, we can say, a simple program, okay, in which we have created a class, an object of that class, and we use this function, show function of this class, to print name and age, okay, for that particular object. So now let me know that you got this output, or you are getting some error, so that let me know at your side. So are you getting these outputs or you are getting some error?
Yes, sir. I got the output.
Okay, fine, good. So Deepika, you got output or is there any issue?
Yes, sir. I got some error. It is showing name N is not defined. Name
Okay,
P is not defined.
MP is not defined. Okay, so check for this code. Just you try to match this code, that is there any typos or any syntax error is there.
Sir,
No,
def, is it underscore?
no, for which show or init?
Sir, the after def that is after def that is underscore init
For init,
after.
actually let me tell you that for this constructor init we have to use double underscore. This is first
Yes.
underscore and then
Uh,
another underscore, and after
Same.
init also we have to write this double underscore. We can say first underscore then second underscore, like that we have to write.
So I have written name and age full. So is it showing error?
So here after self you wrote name and age.
Yes.
That's fine, that will also work, no issue. And age, but at the time you have to use name and age full here also. Okay,
Okay, but I have no, I have used only N and A. So now I have changed it. Okay.
so if you are using n and a here, then you have to write n and a here also. Okay,
Mm.
within constructor also. So if you are writing n and a, then you have to
No,
write n and a here also. Okay,
person object has no attributes. So now it's showing the person object has no attributes. So
so what you can do, just check first this thing. Okay, is there any typo or syntax error? So just check for class person first. So in def double underscore init double underscore, then in parentheses self comma n comma a is there,
yes, sir. There, sir. No
caller is
problem.
there,
Yes, sir.
then self dot name is equal to n,
Yes.
self dot age is equal to a.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these two lines you have to write with some indentation, because within this constructor or function you are writing, so some indentation should be there. You just check this thing.
Yes, sir. It is there, sir.
Okay, fine. Then def show self colon is there,
Yes, sir. There.
print name comma self dot name, print age comma self dot age, it is there.
Yes, sir.
Then just run this cell first.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are getting any error or
No, no, no.
no? So next, go to next cell and check there, p is equal to person and within parentheses Rahul comma 25, it is there.
Yes, sir. There, sir. No
Okay, run
problem.
this cell.
Done, sir.
Okay, then write in next cell p dot show, like this.
That also I have done.
Okay,
Still it
now
is showing person
run
has
this cell.
no attributes. So same error it is showing, sir. The
Okay,
person object has no attributes. So
attribute show. Okay, so it means there is some issue in this show function. So check that def is there, then show is there. Check
yes,
the
sir.
spelling of show, show.
SHOW.
Then
Yes.
self is there,
Yes, sir.
then colon.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, two print statements with some indentation you have to write.
Yes, sir. Everything is there, sir.
Then what is the issue? When there should be no issue. Okay, so what we can do, that let me discuss another
That
thing, that is
I will check it out, sir.
okay. Until then let me discuss one more thing that actually we have to cover about inheritance, and then you may share your screen, then we will try to resolve that thing. Okay, so let me tell you that what do we mean by inheritance. So inheritance means simply you want to implement parent child relationship type of thing. Okay, so inheritance actually is the capability of one class to derive on inherit the properties from another class. Okay, so it will simply help you in as reusability of a code, and same code again and again you don't need to write, so it will facilitate reusability. For example, in parent class, if you have used some data member functions, so that you don't need to write again in child class if you are sure that child class will also have those data member and member functions. Okay, so you don't need to write, simply you have to call that. Okay, so it is transitive in nature. It means class B inherit something from A, and all the subclasses of B would automatically inherit from class A. So for example, A is parent class, then B is child class of A, and C is child class of B. So inherent transitively, all the data member functions will be inherited from A to B and B to C also. Okay, so let me tell you that how in Python we can create this parent child relationship, or we can say implement inheritance. So till this we have class person. So next I am going to create another class, like person may be a student. Okay, so if you want to inherit, or if you want to make it a child class of uh, parent class as person. Okay, so you want to make person as parent class and student as a child class. So what you have to do in Python programming, simply you have to write class student. So this will create a class student, and after that within parentheses simply you have to write parent. Okay, sorry, person. So in this way, actually, person will be parent class and student will be a child class of this person class. Okay, so simply in this way you can implement this parent child relationship in Python. So after that, what we can do, we can create again constructor like def init for this student class also. So we can write this in it, and for example, for a student, what you want, name and age is there, but for a student you want to know for example course also. Okay, so what you will do, that this self will come automatically. After that you will write course. Okay, and what you will do, that self dot course. Okay, for each student you will store course also. So course will be whatever you will provide as course. Okay, but for each student you want to get name and age also. Okay, because name and age will be also there for a student, but in addition to name and age you want to store about course of that student. Okay, so we wrote like this. Now the question is that how we can get name and age at the time of creation of an object of a student. Okay, object of a student class. So what we can do, so we can simply call this constructor init method. Okay, of person class. Okay, of person class. So what we will write here, we will write person dot underscore init underscore, and then after that we will write this. Okay, self and name comma course. Okay, so we will call this in constructor of person class here. So whenever you will call, it means simply the control will go here and it will be executed. Okay, so like that we can do. And now what we can do, that def dot show. Okay, so here also you can write this show function, where self will be automatic parameter argument we have to use. Okay, after that in show, what we want to show, first of all the name and age we want to show. So person dot show we will call. So we will simply call this function. After that, what we will write? After that, we will write, for example, print. Okay. In print, what we will write? Course is what? Okay. So course is whatever we have as self dot course. Okay. Because any data member, if you have to use, then you have to use with self dot. Okay. So like that we can do. So person dot show. So for show also we have to use this self, I think. So let me check that thing. Person dot show self. So self here we have to use. Okay. So now what we are going to do, the class student we created, person will be the parent class for this class student. Okay. Then init method we called, it means it will be a constructor for student class also. And in constructor, course will be asked, the course will be assigned to the course data member. Okay. And then we will call init, or we can say constructor of person class, in which we will write name and it should be course. So name and age. Okay, it should be age, because in constructor init method, okay, of person class, actually we need name and age. Okay, name and age. Okay. So like that we can write, or for course you can write C. Okay. So for course you can write C. So whatever you will write in place of C, that will be stored in course data member of student class. Okay. Now what we are going to do, next we have show function. So in which first we call the show function of person class. So that's why we are writing person dot show. Okay, because this will call show function of person class. Okay. And how why we are actually calling it here, because we want to show name and age also. Okay, that's why we want to print name and age, so that we can print with the help of show function of person class. And if you want to print course, so for that we will write this print statement for course. Okay. So in this way we can design a child class, which is that is the student class, for which parent class is person. So next what we are going to do, we will create an object of this student class. Okay. And in which we have to provide, for example, first we have to provide for a student also, we want to get name. So what we will write here, for example, we will write Sohan. So Sohan will be name of that student. Age will be, for example, 15. And course also we have to write. Okay. So in course we have to write, for example, BCA. Okay. And then we will try to execute this one. Okay, so Sohan 15 and BCA now we have. Now we will call this show function. Okay, with the help of this object S. Okay, S dot show. So whenever you will call, first person dot show will be called, it means name and age will be printed. Then this print statement to print the course, that will be executed. So you will get name Sohan, age is 15, course is BC. Okay. So in this way we can implement this inheritance feature. So I hope you got these points. Okay, now let me know that you are getting proper output for this, or you are getting some error.
Sir, we are getting the output.
Okay, fine, good.